She introduced me to the board as her assistant. Not co-creator, not partner, not even collaborator. Just some anonymous woman in a top blazer, clutching a USB like a waitress holds the check. Chloe handles logistics, Claire said, not looking at me. And coffee. She's got a talent for pouring it without spilling. That was the moment I realized she wasn't just delusional, she was dangerous. The man across from me, venture capitalist with the kind of haircut that cost more than my rent, nodded politely, but his eyes lingered. He recognized me. From the MIT panel, from the Wired feature, from my keynote in Berlin 2 years ago. But he said nothing. They never do. Men like him love watching women implode without having to nudge the wreckage. Claire clicked the remote and began her pitch. And I mean my pitch. Slide by slide, she walked through thermal adaptive fiber networks, electrotextile memory threading, the same diagrams I sketched on a bar napkin, while sobbing into a whiskey at 3 a.m. in Bushwick. She even used the same fake use case demo I once mocked up for DARPA. Smart combat suits that regulate core body temp in shifting climates. Claire said the phrase neurologically attuned like she understood what it meant. She didn't. She just liked how it sounded when paired with synergy. Everyone clapped. The CEO leaned back like he'd just witnessed the second coming. One of the junior partners whispered she's going to land defense with this. I sat still, unblinking like prey before the pounce. She thought I was broken, that I had no proof, no documentation, no fight left. What she didn't know was this: 5 days ago, a manila envelope arrived at my apartment. No return address. Inside was a 32 GB flash drive. On it, a video file. Blurry. Time-stamped, dated from 18 months prior. Claire, in my lab, alone, holding my blueprints, snapping photos. The file was titled, "Hope You Know What to Do." I hadn't told a soul, not even my lawyer, not yet, because war isn't declared with a press release. It's whispered in the halls of power, and today wasn't about exposing her. Today was about watching her rise just high enough to make the fall lethal. So I smiled, poured her coffee, watched her bask, and waited. 3 years ago, she cried on my bathroom floor because her startup folded and her boyfriend left her for a woman who sold artisanal pickled juice in mason jars. Her mascara made Rorschach stains on my tile. I gave her my couch, my charger, my last bottle of Malbec. I even gave her access to my prototype lab. Claire called it the kindness chapter. I called it stupid. Back then, I believed in family the way children believe in superheroes, irrationally, with both hands outstretched. I thought if I just kept giving, eventually she'd stop taking. Instead, she learned how to take better. She started showing up at my pitch meetings, said it looked more legit if I had someone blonde and peppy nearby, that her marketing background would round me out while I handled the nerd stuff. She smiled when I got flustered during Q and then laughed off my imposter syndrome like it was quirky, not crushing. Then came the interview, Wired, digital exclusive. They wanted the duo who disrupted the textile wearable sector with a thermoregulating fabric that thinks. I wrote the code. I engineered the polymers. Claire did her hair. The article came out 2 weeks later. I was quoted once about needing more sleep. She was on the cover, arms folded. Headline, "The girl who's changing your clothes and your climate." That was the first time I didn't talk to her for a week. The second was when the grant money disappeared. A $250K innovation stipend, gone overnight. She said she forgot to mention she moved it to a more liquid-friendly account. The LLC tied to the deposit wasn't our startup, it was hers. That night I locked the lab, switched passwords, rebooted the GitHub, but it was too late. Files were already forked, renamed, repackaged. The betrayal was clinical. Like watching a dog walk on 2 legs, you're not even angry at first, just confused it happened at all. She vanished for months, no calls, no emails. Then last week she sent me a meeting invite. Subject, let's make history. Location, Boardroom, 17th floor. Time, Monday, 9 a.m. I stared at the screen so long my eyes went dry. She had no idea I was coming. She had no idea who else had my back now. 'Cause the man who gave me that envelope, he didn't just send the video, he sent two. The second video wasn't shaky or time-stamped. It was crisp, intentional. A clean desk, good lighting, and Claire sitting across from a man in a pinstripe suit, grinning like a cobra in a petting zoo. "We'll fast-track the licensing once Chloe's out of the picture," she said, voice syrupy, businesslike. "She's volatile, prone to emotional spirals. Won't survive the pressure once the press hits." She leaned in, too proud to notice the mic clipped to her lapel. "The patent I filed, it's not clean, but it's buried deep. If anyone checks, I'll say we filed jointly and she ghosted. Women ghost each other all the time. It's not exactly the SEC." The man chuckled. "You're cold, Claire." She raised her wine glass. "I'm efficient." The file was named Efficiency 1, MP4. I stared at the footage so long my laptop battery died under it. I didn't move, didn't blink. I just felt it all calcify in my chest, every missed credit, every shrunk-down quote, every damn time she called me emotional like it was an insult, not a symptom of working 3 jobs to fund the tech she now sold as hers. I didn't cry. I uploaded the video to a private drive, created a QR code, tucked it behind a dead link on my own portfolio site under contact for press kits. Let it sit there, quiet, unassuming, just like me. Now here we were Monday morning. Claire was floating in her dopamine-fueled ego cloud, oblivious to the storm barreling straight at her skull. Can we move forward with next steps? She asked the CEO, crossing her legs like a CEO herself. I've already scheduled press rounds. Vogue Tech wants a feature. If we close by Friday, I can fast-track licensing to mid-tier manufacturers in Europe. The room was impressed. They always are when someone's confident enough to lie well. I cleared my throat, the kind of sound that isn't loud but lands. Claire turned, startled, like she'd forgotten I existed. Her eyes flinched for half-second before she recalibrated into charm mode. Oh, Chloe, she purred. You wanted to, distribute those reports? I looked at her. And at the board? Actually, I said I brought something different. I reached into my bag and pulled out a small stack of folders. Custom printed, each stamped with the logo of ICMV Industries. I handed them out slowly, one by one. Inside, a timeline, my patent filing, early-stage prototypes, version code check-ins, and for the finale, a QR code on the back page. Before you make any commitments, I said, locking eyes with the chairman, might want to review the original ownership data. Claire was frozen, face pale, knees locked, her breath shallow enough to whistle. The CEO scanned the code with his phone. He didn't blink for the full 90 seconds it took to watch the video. Then he looked up at Claire and said flatly, "Did you think we wouldn't vet?" She stammered something about confusion, collaborative workspaces, sisterly synergy. But it was too late. The boardroom smelled like scorched opportunity, and I hadn't even hit play on the second video yet. She tried to talk over the silence. That twitchy, desperate monologue people launch when they realize the floors caved in under their stilettos. Let's not get dramatic, Claire said, voice all breath and no bass. Look, Chloe and I, sisters, right? We've always shared ideas. This was just a miscommunication, a clerical error. I can call the patent office today, have it updated. We're family. She said family like a curse she was trying to reverse mid-sentence. But the room had already shifted. You could feel it. The atmosphere had that frozen, electric thrum of a crash nobody wanted to be near, but everyone wanted to witness. A few execs were side-eyeing their phones. One guy coughed just to fill the dead air. I didn't move. I just sat back and let the shame swirl. The chairman turned to me. Miss Rowan, Chloe, this ICMV Industries filing, it's valid. Registered 2 years ago, I nodded once. With independent verification from 2 IP attorneys. And before anyone asks, yes, I still retain the full rights, including exclusive licensing terms. Claire's application was fraudulent. I turned then directly to her. You didn't even change the layer names on the schematic file, Claire. One of them still said Chloe Alpha Draft 3 AM Final PSD. You stole it tired. That cracked the room open. Few half-suppressed chuckles. The kind that say we were rooting for you, but damn, you're sloppy. Claire's mascara was sweating now. She reached for her water, knocking the glass slightly before gripping it with both hands like a hostage negotiator. I was just trying to help, she whispered. No, you were trying to replace, I replied. And you're not built for what you stole. She opened her mouth again, but the chairman raised a hand. His voice was ice calm. Claire, he said, you're aware that falsifying IP ownership in a licensing negotiation can constitute fraud, correct? Her throat worked like she was trying to swallow a pine cone. Until legal concludes their review, he continued, I'd advise you to cancel all pending press appearances and clear your calendar for compliance interviews. Claire made a sound. Half breath, half laugh. It was the kind of noise someone makes when they think if they can just wake up fast enough, this might be a dream. But it wasn't, it was a reckoning. I stood slowly, folded my hands and glanced around. I'll give you space, I said. When you're ready to talk about real partnerships built on merit, not mimicry, you know where to find me. Then I turned to leave, heel clicks deliberate, spine straight, but just before the door, I paused. Actually, I added, not turning around if anyone's still unsure who invented this tech. I tapped the QR code again. This time, I played the second video. The one where Claire spelled out her plan to erase me. The one with the pinstripe man nodding. The one ending with her smirking, wine glass raised, and saying, by the time Chloe realizes what happened, I'll already be the face of the future. And then I left the room full of men watching that future evaporate. The fallout didn't erupt, it seeped, like poison gas under a doorframe. Silent, slow, absolute. By the time I reached the elevator, Claire hadn't moved from her seat. Her spine was a question mark, her eyes 2 busted street lamps. The door slid shut before I could see if she cried. She always hated crying in front of strangers. I didn't go home. I went to a hotel downtown. One of those cold, concrete lobbies with art that looks like depression wearing sunglasses. I booked a room under my ICMV alias. Not paranoia, insurance. I wasn't done playing this game, and I knew Claire well enough to know what came next. She wouldn't go quietly, and she sure as hell wouldn't go alone. Sure enough, 5 hours later, my inbox pinged with a cease and desist on me. Her lawyer had the audacity to claim that I was interfering with a pending acquisition and that I'd used slanderous material obtained via unauthorized surveillance. Cute. I forwarded it to my attorney, then to someone else. The man who sent me the envelope. He hadn't spoken directly yet. No names. Just a signal that blinked to life on my burner account whenever he had something to drop. But this time he messaged, "You're up. Want the rest?" I typed back, "Does IT burn?" His reply was instant, like gasoline on a church floor. 15 minutes later, I had access to a folder titled Sugar Glass. Inside, a paper trail of Claire's secondary LLCs, off-the-books investors, and one very illuminating string of emails between her and a mid-level exec at Solvetech, our competitor. The subject line of one was simply, "What if she never shows up again?" So that's what it was. Claire hadn't just tried to erase me, she'd pre-sold me to the wolves. The plan was to bait me into vanishing, destroy my credibility, take my work, sell it high, walk away with a scarf around her neck and a TED talk on her resume. Even floated a rumor on Twitter that I'd taken time away from innovation for mental health. How generous. I stared at the emails until my knuckles cracked from gripping the chair. I wanted to scream. Instead, I ordered tea. Then I started drafting the response. Not a rebuttal, not a press release. No, this would be something surgical, something undeniable. A presentation. The presentation. I titled it Theft as a Business Model. Set the background to black. No branding. No fluff, just the documents, the code, the messages, the truth. And I scheduled a live stream for Wednesday morning. Private link. Board only, no distractions, no Claire, they would see everything. And once they did, she wouldn't just be out of the deal, she'd be radioactive. Wednesday, 9 a.m. sharp, no intro music, no camera on me. Just the screen, just the facts, just a ticking time bomb with bullet points. The board joined one by one. I saw the viewer count climb, 8, 12, 15. Claire wasn't among them, that was deliberate. I didn't want her squirming in real time. I wanted the verdict to hit her after the hammer dropped. Slide 1, the official patent filing under ICMV Industries. Timestamped, watermarked, witnessed. Every legal nail hammered down with a smile. Slide 2, the internal timeline of development, prototype sketches, GitHub commits, video logs of my lab testing from 3 years back, with my voice grumbling about thermal output in the background. Human, raw, unmistakably mine. Slide 3, the email chain from Sugar Glass, and then slide 4. A simple video file titled Exit Strategy. I didn't narrate. Claire did. It was her voice, calm and venomous, explaining how she could burn Chloe's reputation to the ground with a few well-placed rumors and an article about erratic behavior. She'd already lined up a freelance writer to leak the mental health story to a tech blog. They love a scandal in sandals, she joked. I paused the clip at her smirk. Let the silence breathe. Then dropped the final slide. A contract draft between Claire and Solvetech, pre-signature. A sweetheart deal that offered them tiered ownership over my innovation once all proprietary conflicts were cleared. The closing clause used the phrase clean slate 3 times. I ended the stream without a goodbye. The phone rang 6 minutes later. Board member, the one with the too perfect hair and the ex-CIA voice. Miss Rowan, he said, is there any legal barrier to you stepping in directly as lead technical officer on this project? No, I said, pause, and Claire, she'll need a new line of work. Maybe petty larceny. He didn't laugh. We'll send amended terms within the hour. Click. 10 minutes later, I got a text from Claire. Just 5 words. You think this is over? I stared at it. Then replied, I know it's not, because the difference between sabotage and war? Sabotage is secret, war has witnesses, and Claire had just been seen by everyone. By Thursday, her name was a curse in 5 inboxes and a red flag in 6 investor Slack channels. By Friday, Solvetech scrubbed her LinkedIn endorsements and issued a bland no further comment. And by Saturday, she was on her 3rd burner account trying to DM me from an account called Woke Yoga Mavin. The board issued a formal statement absolving themselves of her actions, classic corporate speak for we bet on the wrong pretty face. I was back on the schedule, this time as CTO, founder, and controlling partner. No more assistant titles. No more top blazers. I wore black. Clean, sharp. Like the last sound a guillotine makes. I thought maybe that would be the end. I underestimated Claire's addiction to spectacle. Sunday morning, my lawyer called. Chloe checked Twitter. There she was, Claire, live streaming from her apartment like a deranged influencer, sitting cross-legged on a shag rug and holding a cup of tea like she hadn't just tried to defraud an entire boardroom. The caption read, Let's talk about slander. Sister's nail polish, invent hers, truth hour. She was spiraling, and I could smell the Chardonnay through the screen. I made mistakes? Sure, who hasn't? But this narrative that I'm some kind of corporate thief, it's misogyny, it's jealousy, it's Chloe weaponizing trauma to manipulate. I clicked out before she finished the sentence. Because the more she spoke, the more she buried herself. It wasn't just me who noticed. Later that night, I got a call from someone unexpected. Her ex, yeah, the NFT consultant, the one she swore was irrelevant. I know where the real prototype is. He said, what? She gave it to me before she disappeared. Said if anything went south, I should burn it. I didn't. It's in a climate-controlled box under my bed. Long story, pause, I want to give it back to you. Why? Because she's insane, he said, deadpan, and you're not. Also, I read your code. That suit is genius. So Monday, I drove out to Jersey in a rented Honda with 3 contracts in the glove box and a baseball bat under my seat just in case. He handed me the box without flair. Said, hope you finish it this time. Then shut the door like we were old roommates and not 2 war survivors trading artifacts. Inside the box, my original build, serial number intact, 1 small scorch mark on the thermal pad, a burn I remembered giving myself in month 7. I held it like a relic, like proof. Claire hadn't just stolen plans. She'd tried to erase the past. Too bad I just brought it back. press release went out Tuesday at 10:04 a.m. sharp. ICMV Industries reclaims original prototype. CEO Chloe Rowan announces global licensing deal with NanoX Europe. No drama, no fireworks, just facts like a scalpel to the throat of every rumor she ever spread. Attached was a photo of me holding the prototype, burn mark visible, serial number gleaming. I didn't smile. I didn't need to. Claire went dark for 48 hours, and a Medium article surfaced under the title, My Side of the Story, Innovation, Sisters, and Survival. It was 2,000 words of revisionist poetry. She called herself a muse, said she brought emotional structure to a chaotic genius, claimed I imploded from pressure and she stepped up out of necessity. She even framed the theft as an act of love, said she was protecting my legacy by delivering it to the world. She signed it, Claire Rowan, founder of the future. I didn't respond publicly. I didn't have to. The board did. 4 hours later, they issued a cease and desist. Every publication that shared her article pulled it down before sundown, and Solvtech's general counsel sent her a very polite death sentence in legalese. But the real blow came later. I was backstage at a private innovation summit in Vienna when the alert hit my phone. Claire had launched her own product line, cheap knockoff thermals, non-regulated, questionable wiring. She'd called it Rowan Glow. It short-circuited in a beta test. One model overheated during a fitness demo and melted straight through a treadmill. The video went viral in under 2 hours. Headline, Founder's Faux Pas, Claire Rowan Smartwear torches brand and floor. By midnight, her LLC was flooded with refund requests, regulatory inquiries, and one very poetic class action threat from a CrossFit gym. Meanwhile, I was on stage, shaking hands with 3 new partners, all of whom used to ignore my calls when Claire was the face. After the summit, I returned to my hotel, poured a whiskey, and logged into the company's Slack. Pinned at the top was our new mission statement. I hadn't written it. One of the interns had, but I left it there. We don't burn bridges. We wire them to light up when walked on by liars. As for Claire, last I heard, she was trying to sell bath bombs on Etsy under the name Glow Sister Co. I didn't block her. I wanted her to see every milestone, every partnership, every contract, every headline that no longer included her name, and if she ever forgets why, there's still a QR code buried on my site, labeled simply, for Claire, in case you get creative again. Big thanks for watching, you sneaky seniors. Subscribe to keep the coffee pot brewing revenge. Your ex-colleagues won't know what hit 'em.